I do believe that, and I believe there are certain forces. I'm more concerned. I'm more convinced about climate change than I am about the total impact of global warming. In other words, I approach this in terms of looking at the environment and looking at our energy needs from a standpoint that I am convinced by looking at the data that we have tremendous climate change in the world. There are variations beyond the standard. Now, there are certain parts of the world that are becoming heated. This is, we know, a main result of too much carbon in the air. And we continue to depend upon fossil fuel and foreign fossil fuel at that. But we should be looking at alternative forms of energy. And I've worked on that since I've got to the Congress, whether it was wind energy, whether it was solar. And I know that's only a part of it, whether clean coal, whether nuclear. I support safe nuclear energy construction throughout the United States of America. I think that this is important. And during this transition period of getting away not only from fossil fuel that comes from foreign countries that are not to our benefit in terms of our own security, during this period of time, then we're trying to back off drilling to, again, bring more fossil fuel from our own earth or from our own seas. I know that's just going to take time. This ain't going to happen over 5, 10, or 15 years. But we got to have that transition. We got to deal in alternative forms of energy. And we got to be willing to invest in research and development to those ends. And I'm glad that that's what the Recovery Act, part of it, did last year. I'm very happy about that. And there's no question in my mind that we need to deal with the chemical imbalance, with the toxins that are in the air, because I don't want my grandchildren to be inheriting that, to stunt their growth, to constrict their growth or their development or their health in the future. I think that we need to do something about this, and I am strongly concerned about doing it in a way that we do not have a dramatic change of occupations from one day to the next, that we have a gradual transitional turn away from fossil fuel, first foreign, then domestic, while we're developing these alternative forms. And I think it'll help the environment, and I think we'll cool off things to a large degree.
And was the vote that you took last year for the energy bill in the House, which put a cap and trade system on carbon emissions and a mandatory renewable energy standard in place, was that a mistake, or is that the kind of policy you're talking about?
I think that's where we should be heading, that legislation, the cap and trade legislation. I think that's what you're talking about. That I voted on last year was very, very controversial. Many people within the business community supported it. At that time, we were dealing with either cap and trade, which came out of commerce, which came out of energy. Congressman, no, Congressman, the chairman was.
Dingle?
No, well, he was the chairman. Waxman.
Sorry.
Yeah, he was. Dingle was the chairman. Now Waxman was the. I chose the cap and trade over direct taxes on carbon. I thought it would work better for New Jersey. Now, don't forget, this is a regional situation. These things are not universal, and every state's not going to agree with Bill Pascrell's solution with addressing climate change in the United States of America. But I think it was the right direction to go in. Was it far from perfect? It was probably further from perfect than any legislation that I voted on in the environment or energy in the past 6 or 7 years. I think it was going in the right direction now, definitely.